What was it that appealed to you about coming to the U.S., coming to Odyssey Networks, and tell us a little bit about where it was and where you've taken it since you've been on board as the CEO?
I think it was 2008, and I was at a history documentary makers conference here in New York. And I'd known about Odyssey. Odyssey is probably the world's biggest multimedia, multi-faith, not-for-profit organization. So if you're at the Cannes TV Festival looking for someone to partner with on a production, Odyssey was always someone near the top of the list for you to go and see. So I knew of Odyssey, and I had to do a speech. I think it was about, I can't remember the topic, but the outgoing CEO of Odyssey said, I liked what you had to say. Have you ever thought of moving to America, because I'm stepping down? And I remember being, thrilled by this prospect that somebody should think that I could do that. And I'd been a sort of foreign correspondent. I'd traveled a lot as a current affairs presenter. And I would spend 2-3 weeks sometimes in a country, and I would get just a taste of that. And I would sometimes think, wow, I wonder what it'd be like to live abroad. And because I'd spent so much time around, but I never actually uproots, and moved. And so when this came along, I thought, well, this is probably one of my last chances to do that, and oh my goodness, it's New York. I mean, growing up in Britain, watching the movies, I always assumed New York was the capital of the world. I assumed that if aliens landed, they would say, take me to New York, because that's where your leader must be. And so I was thrilled about the opportunity that it was New York. I was thrilled that it was someone with such an important track record and commitment to serious programming as Odyssey. And it was something that I felt I had to do. And what I found was something similar in the way to what I found at CTVC. Here had been a behemoth, a giant in the past, and it had quite a rigid way of doing things and a structured way. And, that had really replicated, I think, the whole business approach in the 80s and some of the 90s, but things were loosening up. And I think this was an organization that was looking for a vision. It had its own channel once, it no longer had its channel. So what could it do if it didn't have a channel? And I think they looked to me to come up with something. And again, the deep problem was, how do you break down something really solid and rebuild it? It's been a tough job, and we've seen people who were there go and new staff come in, whole new ways of doing things, whole new relationships built around different things, getting boards to see things differently, learning the difference as well between US and UK approaches. So it was a huge learning curve. And it's taken 5 years, but where we are, we are probably delivering more programming to more people than we've probably ever done.